Hey, how's everybody doing? I see we have 68 Stangs been waiting here for a while, apparently. So I'm glad you're here, Reese. Robert, glad you're here. Boondocker, glad you're here. And tonight is the second broadcast with Ethernet cable hookup. So hope you're happy about that. I did one last week on Wednesday, and that was the first one I did with the Ethernet cable connected. So hopefully you'll see this be smoother, audio and everything else. So yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, Robert. Let's see, Andrew checking in, Ron Koch, and DP. How you doing? It's been an interesting last couple or week or so. Trying to get different things done and trying to make videos so people can watch, because I know everybody wants to see more videos. So I've been trying to get stuff together. Hey, Dave, Emil, glad you're here. I just saw a little hesitation. I'm really hoping that this cable is working fine. It says I'm connected, so yeah. Anyway, I've been working off and on a 65 Impala, and I did the radiator and I did the trunk seal, and I started working on the brakes. And hey, Guido, Mark, glad you're here. I started working on the brakes in the rear, and I knew that, I think I mentioned this last week, when the car pulled in, smoke was rolling out of the back wheels. Okay, thanks, Ron. Phil, let's see. Love it before Barry shows. He has 3 likes. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for that comment. Hey, Mo. Mo's elbow grease. Show on. Glad you're here. Mason. Maybe. I don't know. Depends where you live, Mason. We'll have to maybe talk about it. But anyway, I was working on the Impala, and like I said, when the car rolled in, smoke just rolling out of the back wheel wells. And I'd asked the owner if the parking brake was on, and he said no. Hey, Terry. And all right, thank you, Mark. So I asked him if the parking brake was on, and he said no. And I thought, well, that's not good, because the wheels were hot. It had been holding pressure. The shoes had been contacting the drums for quite some distance. So after I worked on the radiator and the trunk seal, I thought, well, I better take a look at these brakes. And my instincts, initially when I thought parking brake, the parking brake was on, because both wheels are smoking. And then I thought, well, it's possible that the wheel cylinders went bad, but it's unlikely they both went bad at the same time. I mean, it's possible, but it's unlikely. So I started taking things apart. Hey, David Outdoors. Thank you, Habusa. Glad you're here. I started working on, taking things apart, and I looked at the shoes, and I think I showed this last week, but they were just cracked from the heat. So the shoes had to be replaced regardless. Then I pulled the boots off of the wheel cylinders, and it was all crusty, So again, I'm kind of, I've got this little voice in the back of my head saying, you need to keep checking things. Hey, Brian. So I went ahead and changed the wheel cylinders and changed the shoes, and I did a video on that. It's coming out tomorrow. So if you have any questions about doing brake drums on a Chevy, but it's also almost the same thing for any car built in this era, 60s, 70s, 50s, it's the same process, really. And anyway, thank you, Habusa. That's awesome. Thank you very much. You get a bell for that. Appreciate that. Off to a good start. But my instincts were still telling me something wasn't right, because both wheels were smoking so bad. Well, I had my buddy over here, and we started bleeding the brakes. And, if you bleed brakes, if you've ever done it, Emil, there's you can still get ahead. Yeah, disc over drum, of course. But, you know, if you got an old car like this, you're not going to want to put four-wheel disc on the car. You know, it's not really practical in some sense. But either way, I had my buddy help me, you know, bleeding the brakes, and we weren't getting that big push of fluid coming out of the wheel cylinders. I mean, it was coming out, but it wasn't like the big, you know, stream of pressure. Hey, Denny, glad you're here. So I really was struggling with this because I thought, what did I, you know, did I do something wrong, first of all? And then I remembered that there's been issues with brake hoses failing. I've seen it on front, you know, cars with disc brakes on the front, where the brake hose leading from, you know, the body to the caliper, it will deteriorate on the inside. And what happens as the fluid presses towards the caliper, that breakdown material will get in there, and it will not allow pressure to relieve when you let off the brakes. It's almost like just a check valve. You know, it just keeps on adding a little bit more to it. That is when I thought, okay, it's the hose. Yeah, Robert. I'll give you a bell anyway. Yeah, and David. But the you know, I knew something in my mind was saying, hey, something's not quite right. So anyway, I had to order the hose, and it won't be here till tomorrow. It's just one of those steps in the process to where something else I have to wait for, and you know, so I started working on. Hey, Leonard, glad you're here. But anyway, so the video shows everything, including bleeding the brakes, you know, changing the wheel cylinder, all those things, and I think it's a good video. So it'll come out tomorrow, and like I said, it's relative to any car that's got drum brakes on it. But at this point, I'm going to have to get back under the car and get the change out the hose, which I'll have tomorrow. And yeah, Robert. Well, you know, you don't see it that often, honestly, unless I see it. I've seen it on, like I said, on calipers. I don't know that I've ever seen it on a car with drums that it held pressure like that. Because see if I can remember the terminology. You know, a wheel cylinder is low volume, high pressure, and a caliper is high volume, low pressure. And that's where you know, you think about that for a minute, and I just not recalled ever seeing one where the hose to the rear had caused that sort of issue, because it's, you know, it's kind of a different. It's the same concept, but it's a slightly different animal in that respect, is the pressures. So anyway, yeah, no Jack. I did not get my ribeye yet. Yeah, upstate area is terrible for bleeding brakes. Yeah, well, that's why I really like cars in the South, because that's really not an issue. And let's see, Robert's saying, usually drums have more return pressure from the springs, and it takes a heck of a bad hose to cause it. Well, I'm assuming that the hose that's on this car is original. So 55 years old, surprised, you know, that it lasted this long. But hey, Gary, hey, Jeff, happy Monday. Yes. Let's see, Hot Boost, I have 65 Ford with front drums. I would like to swap the disc, but it can get pricey. It can. And I did the conversion on the Jade Mustang. Hey, Gary. I did the conversion on the Jade Mustang using CSRP, which is basically using stock style parts. So if you haven't looked at that video, you may have, I don't know. Look up the Jade video on the brakes, and might give you some insight as to what you're looking into. But CSRP is the brand, and I had some minor issues with that kit, but it wasn't the manufacturer. It was the fact that I think the car had been hit in the front, and the driver's side shock tower is tweaked back just a hair, and it's just enough to cause the master cylinder to not fit. So if you're looking at that kit, you can look at the Jade video and you can see some of my fabrication / engineering skills to make that kit fit because of the shock tower that was out of place. And I actually had called the owner of the company, and I said, something's wrong. And he said, it's the shock tower. He's seen it before. It doesn't take much to get them out of place. And it's because their design is, I understand their design concept and why they did it, but there's a plate that goes between the master cylinder and the booster and the firewall. So you have to watch the video. I customized everything, and it fits and works. So, yeah, David, no thanks. No thanks. I like cars in the South. Leonard, hope you had a great Father's Day as well. And if anybody is, I'll just say that as well. Happy Father's Day to anybody out there who fits the bill. I don't know your your status, but if you're a father and you're whatever, I hope you had a happy Father's Day. Yeah, Hot Busa. It's interesting. The kit is really nice. I had to modify the brake pedal, and it came in the kit, so you have to relocate the swing arm because, again, of the difference of the master cylinders and pressures and stuff like that. So, David, it's actually easier to change brakes and drums on my 04 Oshkosh snowplow truck than my 2004 Chevy pickup. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. But anyway, if you ever run into a situation where you're thinking you get a hot wheel or hot brake, and by default, most people, and I've done it myself, most people are going to consider the caliper being stuck. And a lot of times it is just a caliper that has gotten stuck. But once I cycle a caliper and it moves freely, then I want to go further. I want to say, okay, what else could be causing this? Speaking of car with disc brakes up front, but at that point, consider that brake hose. And amazingly enough, that happens fairly often. Because the modern, I don't know, it seems like the modern hoses aren't as tough or durable, let's say, than stuff that was built decades ago. I mean, it took 55 years for this one to have a failed brake hose. And anyway, so, and then what else was there? Oh, I decided to start working on the door seals. I mentioned before about changing out the door seals. That may have been a bad idea, honestly. I'll go into more of that later, but I mentioned before these doors. Now the seals are garbage on this car right now, the driver's side. So I can open this door and just, it shuts nice and solid, but the seals are all just totally dried out, compressed, and useless, really. Well, I started changing out the seals on the other side, on the passenger side, and I did that. I got the seals out, put the new ones in. Doors don't want to latch. And I've played with it. I've moved the striker. I've tried different things. But what's weird about it is if you try to slam the door thinking that's what's going to work, it doesn't work. It rebounds too fast. And it might not even catch the first latch or the first part of the latch. But if I push it forward slowly and get it in and then put a thigh against it and just give it a little, it latches fine. So it's kind of one of those things where the seal may compress over time and, create a more shallow space for the door. But I'm hoping the owner's not going to be, I'm sure he won't be upset, but he's going to have to learn that to shut that door, you're going to have to be a little more controlled in how you do it. So, let's see. Leonard Walters, a lot of the cars I bought in my younger years, I always had to replace the rubber brake hoses because of lack of maintenance. Well, yeah. Yeah, changing the seals in your formula. Yeah. Well, what's unique about this, and this is another thing I'm going to have to point out in the video that I'm going to make on this door or these seals. I've I have a couple of issues with this. What's going on? One is uh, I bought the seals from two different companies, and I'll go into them more of that later. But I'm really irritated by one company because the seals are manufactured by the same company. They're just sold through different vendors. So I'll get more into that later. But the other part is up in the corner of this rear where that little curve is, the new seal is incomplete. I mean, the front door, it's a complete loop, all one piece seal. The rear seals, it starts in the corner, goes down and around, and then it's an open end. It's cut. I mean, it's comes around and it just joins up there, and it's not even like a 45 or anything. It's not like something you glue together. It's just two corners that come together, and what do you do now? What are you supposed to do with that? But not real happy with that. So I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with those seals. Just frustrating. When you buy a product, you expect it. Well, it's made for this car, should be all there, but apparently not. Robert debating whether to buy a shrinker stretcher or new rear outer wheel houses and cut the lifts off of them, and then stuff to make them fit. Just the 90s, it's bad and need more tools. Well, that's a tough situation. Obviously, you need more tools, right? Everybody needs more tools, so you can justify that buying the tools. The question is, do you want to keep the space for that shrinker stretcher that you may use never again? I don't know. I like the idea of the if I can get a panel that's close to the right dimension and cut it and fit it, fine. If not, well, like I fixed up on, I think it was Mystique. I just handmade my own patch for that wheelhouse and massaged it in there and welded it up, and it was great. So, so it's up to you on that, but you might need some new tools, more tools, right? Battery burnout. Brake lines aren't as good as they were either. My 72 is still as original lines. My 2000 Ranger needs all lines replaced. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know what they changed in, I'll blame it on unleaded gas. How about that? So, yeah, it's strange. Andrew, yes, by all means, hit the thumbs up button, guys. Help it go and help it grow. So David's saying brake lines last maybe 6 years if you're lucky. No, thanks. Not interested. I know what it's like to live up there, at least in Pennsylvania. Not going to do it. Harvey's here. Glad you're here, Harvey. Yeah, you missed out. Happy Father's Day. A day late. The other thing I was going to talk about, besides the Impala, and of course I did mention I am on the Ethernet cable now. I did a video earlier today talking about the Brooklyn Pony and gave an update on that. So hopefully I know everybody's asking about it and they want to see more videos, and I want to make more videos. I really do. But I needed to get some information out there so that others could know what's going on and get them caught up. And another thing, now we're talking about it, again, I see Grease Rookie. If you haven't been checking out Andrew's channel, go check it out. Grease Rookie. He's doing some cool stuff, and he's really learning as he goes. So you need to go check him out. And I saw an update from Tempest Restorations. So if you haven't checked him out, he had a nice little interesting video on the deck filler panel on his 68 fastback that he's building, and how he had to hand make some repair patches for that. And I think he's getting ready to get the whole thing media blasted, so he knows exactly where he's at, which is a great idea. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? You think you've got an. I've been looking on like Mustang Restoration Forum, and people are posting pictures of cars that they had media blasted, and the blaster didn't even remove all the Bondo that was in the car, and so they're having to dig all this stuff out, and they're finding really bad repairs. That's where it's great to know what you have before you dig into it. Leonard, no, these were Soft Seal. Is the company. That's who made these seals for this car, and I mean it's a nice seal. It's got the little push pins, that go in the holes around the perimeter. So I just don't. I mean, I understand that because it's a new seal, the doors aren't going to latch right, and also because the door mechanism, the latches are 55 years old. So they've gotten used to just having a simple, no resistance kind of mate together on the striker pin post, but because of that seal and that old latch, now it's got it's doing this rebound thing. It can't get caught up. Dave, what were your concerns with the 2-inch lower spindles? A lot of it was about just ground clearance. When the owner got the car, he was looking at packages, and they were offering a deal on this package, and he jumped on it, and I don't blame him. And I think as time went on, and he realized, I think he said he sat in one that somebody else had that had the same kit in it, and the guy was not happy because it rode really rough and made it remind him of a Corvette, and an older Corvette, and riding very stiff. He said it handled great, but it was just a rough ride. And of course, I understand not wanting a rough ride, and that's where he decided to do some research and see what he could find out. So in this case, we're going to put the stock height spindles that come from TCI. So all the rotors will have to come off, and all that stuff to swap everything out, get it in the right place. And then, as I mentioned, I believe it's going to have airbags on the front to give it a more tunable ride, and hopefully that works out as well. So, yeah, Boondocker, I agree. It is more special to drive an old vehicle. I mean, I like driving old stuff. I really do. Guido, very special guest that didn't show you the day. Who was it? Can you reveal? You know what? I won't reveal just yet. I forgot. I'm going to send him a message and see if he'll get on again, or see if he'll get on. He's never been on before. I'll send him a message and see what happens. He might be busy again. If he is, I'm just going to wait. I don't want to say who it is yet. I mean, he's a nice guy. You've probably seen him before, but we'll get to that point. Yeah, you're welcome, Andrew. Good stuff on your channel, man. I like that. Actually, like that new compressor you got. It's not big enough for my garage, but for what you're doing, I think it's fine. And I was happy you got an upgrade from that pancake thing. Robert, I've used Metro molded parts for GM cars, and their stuff is often made of several glued together pieces, and many pieces are too hard. Okay, well, I'll give you a bell for that information. Danny Elvey, some of the older seals were a foam type, and the new ones are rubber. Well, hold on a second. That's the thing. This is the seal. This is foam. I mean, it's got air holes in it, and I can grab a hold of it and pull out chunks of it, with my fingers. So that's foam. And well, you can't see, but I can see air holes in it. So this is the correct shape and everything. But, and again, this is the trunk seal though. This is the same company, Soft Seal, I believe. But the ones that are in the door, it's the same material. It's got the foam. And I don't. Well, actually, no. This was from Classic Industries. I take that back. This was Classic Industries, if I remember. But the other two are soft seal, but they're still the foam. They're not rubber because they have the little push pins. You know, you have the hole in the foam, and you can put in a little T push pin, and they're definitely foam. But I understand what you're saying. I don't know what the deal is. I'll have to just hope that time lets it compress and makes it fit better. Boondocker my son is finding out that out driving my $75 W200 that I've kept going, none of his buddies have seen anything like it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Dave, he kind of has a thing for that Corvette ride, but I understand. Yeah, I understand that. Corvettes are fun to drive, but he wants to be able to drive, you know, if he wants to, cross country in this car, and I understand that for sure. So just trying to get it together and, you know, operating. Actually, DP, the shocks that are on it right now are coilovers. It has RideTech coilovers front and rear that came with the kit. But from what he's researched, you can still put the RideTech shocks in, but you change out, I don't know if it's a short, I don't know what it is, but it's got an airbag at the top. I don't know anything about it. If it shows up, it shows up and I'll use it. I don't know. Otherwise, you know, I still have the RideTechs all the way on all four corners, and we'll see. Oh, yeah, here's another thing. Talk about stuff going on. There's, let's see, whoops. Emil, on the back taillight panel, how much does it affect the quarter panel gaps with the trunk lid? Actually, it's not bad. It's settled down since I put it in, so it's really not that bad. It may take, again, some time for that foam to settle in a little bit, but no, it's not bad. I was going to mention this. There's a oh, okay, Randall Heath. Hey, I saw some videos from you today. I saw the first one. I didn't look at the rest yet. You've got a great story, sir. And we're gonna have a video from Randall for a viewer's project. So pretty cool. I mean, that was a cool story. So we're gonna get that up before too long. You picked up a tilt wheel for 16 Cougar this week. Any thoughts for original versus aftermarket for a build that is not going to be totally original? Oh, sorry, Emil. Let me get back to this. You know, it's up to you on that. Is it you picked up a tilt wheel? So I'm assuming it's aftermarket. I don't have an issue with it. You know, it depends on it's all what you want to do. I like the tilt wheel, and if it means buying an aftermarket one to put it in, if I want it, I'll do it, because you're not modifying the car. You know, you're just changing out a steering column. So consider that. If you have the original one, keep it to the side. You know, if you ever, which I know you're not going to sell that car, but if somebody were doing such a thing, then they could just hang on to the original parts and say, look, here you go. It all comes with it as a kit. Let me get back to Emil's question. So he was asking about, on the back taillight panel, how much does it affect the quarter panel gaps with trunk lid? On the back taillight panel, tail panel, how much does it affect the quarter panel gaps? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. If on the back tail panel, how much does it affect the quarter panel gaps with the trunk lid? Well, see, that's where, okay, so you're talking about this way, right? I'm assuming, in and out. And I'm going to give you my answer. It depends on what you do with it, okay? Because whenever I build a car like that, if I'm putting in a new tail panel, first of all, I'm going to use original Ford tooling. If it's available, I'm going to use original Ford tooling. But if it's not, I get, you know, probably the best brand I can. But for me, I don't put anything in permanent until I put everything in place. So trunk lid, deck lid, make sure it's in place, get the quarters, get everything gapped out the way you like it, then start welding, and that way you can tweak it and adjust it and move things, get it where you need it. So it depends on what you're doing to the project. Basically, I'm going to hold you responsible for making it fit, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you're having issues, Emil, but it all comes down to massaging it. Hey, Matt Brooks, new subscriber. I'll give you a bell for that. If you haven't been watching, or if you've just been joining us, I usually give a bell for somebody who's got a great comment or an answer to a question, or if I even answer a question that deserves it, you get a bell for that. Leonard is saying Flaming River makes a very good tilt column, so Randall, you may want to look at that. And then Tim Kessler, I'm wondering if you've been using your Baxter straight line sander and how it's been working for you. I have not used it in a while because I haven't had reason to, but the times that I have used it, I've had no issues. So that's all I can really tell you. The thing is, you got to keep them, keep a little oil in those things. Air pressure is key, all those sort of things. So cheers to you, Matt, and happy Father's Day if it applies. So I don't know. But what I was getting to on my rambling, a few things. I've said it before, we have a camper over in Alabama that's on a lake, and it's called Lake Wedowee. Okay, the town is called Wedowee, whatever. There's several lakes over there. There's a much more expensive lake that's downstream of Wedowee, and actually Wedowee is fed by the Big Tallapoosa and a Little Tallapoosa River or something, feed that lake. And it's a man-made lake, and I think close to the dam, it's probably well over 100 feet deep, whatever. Well, we went out there last month, and there's a place they call the Rock where people jump off the rock. And I'm bringing you this information because I just want to make sure, I want to put it in your minds whenever you're doing something or going somewhere to try to be as safe as you possibly can, right? We went to this place called the Rock, and there's two places right there close to each other where you can jump off of this big rock that's sticking out of the lake. I did it. Both my sons did it. My daughter did it. A friend of my daughter did it. And a bunch of other people showed up while we were doing this. And I filmed it, actually. I had my GoPro. I filmed my kids jumping. I filmed myself jumping. Had a great time. Now, there were lots of young people jumping. I was probably the only old guy jumping off this rock. And we're talking, it's probably 35 feet, I'm guessing, somewhere in that range that you jump off this rock, maybe even 40 feet. I don't know for sure, but it's a pretty good jump. And then there's a smaller rock, which is only about 8 or 10 feet, jump, whatever. Well, we all climbed up there and we jumped, had a great time. We did it once, and that was enough. There was lots of people showing up because it seems like nobody wants to do it until the first people show up and go. And we were the first people to show up and go. Anyway, so we did that. Like I said, we all of us jumped off the big rock, and then my younger son, he did a backflip off of the smaller rock. He had done gymnastics before. He's currently he's a power lifter, athletic guy, and had no problem. Just this past week, some people were out at the Rock, and there was a young man. People were jumping off this thing, having a good time, and there was a young man there who was 23 years old. Now, I don't know the history. I don't know what he did or what his intentions were or if he'd ever jumped before. I don't know. Apparently, he did a backflip off of the 35, 40-foot rock. He did this without a life jacket on. and this is my stressing point here. This area, now I'm not saying all lakes are like this, but in this particular area, this is probably close to 100 feet deep right there as soon as you jump out away from that rock, close to that distance. I mean, it's 10 feet off, straight down, 100 feet. So anyway, this young man decided he was going to do a backflip with no life jacket on. I think you know where this is going. He did the backflip, did a rotation apparently, and landed on his head and neck. They said he went underwater. He came up, got a breath of air, and gone. Never saw it. They didn't see him again. They recovered him 2 or 3 days later at a depth of, there's apparently trees way down in the bottom of this lake because it's a man-made lake and they didn't cut the trees down. But they said they found him at a depth of 46 feet in the top of some trees that were in this lake. And I only want to stress this because my younger son, he did his little backflip and actually jumped off the big rock without a life jacket on. That's never happening again. Unfortunately, this family lost their 23-year-old son, brother, whatever, to just having some fun. So this is just my PSA for today. If you're doing stuff like that, think about it. Be safe. Take care of yourselves, and try to avoid situations where you put yourself in extreme danger. Listen, I jumped out of airplanes when I was in the Army. I did air assault school. I went through jungle training. I trained in the deserts of Death Valley. I trained in the swamps of Florida. I did some scary stuff when I was in the Army, and I know what it's like to be 20 years old and think you're bulletproof. I know what that's like. Now even at my age now, where I jumped off that rock at 53, I had a life jacket on, and I know I went way underwater with that life jacket on, and of course, obviously I came back up, but it just really bothered me to think that this young man lost his life while he was out having some fun, and it could have been prevented. Now I don't know if he broke his neck, I don't know what happened, but if he had a life jacket on, they could have gotten him out of the water and probably saved him. So, and then we had another incident. I think it was yesterday, the day before, same lake. Apparently lightning strike, and like 5 people were seriously injured. So that's one thing you just can't prevent, a lightning strike. But anyway, that's all. I just want to say, give a PSA, be safe. Take care of yourselves. All right. So Randall, let's see. The tilt wheel's original equipment and in great shape. Was that a common offering on the Cougars and Mustangs back then, or is it something special? We need Paul. I don't know where Paul's at. Paul is, in my opinion, the Cougar guru, the only Cougar guru that I know. So he may have an answer for that, but I don't know. I think it depends on the trim level of the car. But I don't know the specifics on the Cougars, so just have to. Somebody will give you an answer, I'm sure. Good evening, Kevin. Glad you're here. Jack, the wheel is not that rare, but is a desirable option. So the tilt wheel is not that rare, but it is a desirable option. I'll give you that. That's true. Guido is saying it's optional when he had his XR7 only. So thank you, Guido. I'm sure Dave will throw something in here. Let's see what Dave says. Oh, let's call Paul. So maybe Dave will get an answer from Paul. Paul knows a lot about Cougars. And I've said it, I know I've said it before, and I need to get the video put together for him on his pair of Cougars that he has. There's so much going on, and I've talked before about the potential of being a full-time YouTuber and leaving or retiring from my day job. And that's pretty promising at this point. We had a conversation, my wife and I had a conversation with a financial advisor who had given us some insight as to what our options were And I left that conversation feeling a lot better about what he had to say. And so that's going to play into the decision making. So still leaning in that direction for sure. And that's why I'm trying to stress to people, if, hey, Jerry, so Guido is saying he had a 68 XR7 and 67 base. It didn't have tilt. Okay. Thank you for that. But I've been stressing to people, and I'll continue to stress it, because it's an easy thing to do for you to help support the channel. And that is, if you buy stuff off of Amazon, which everybody does, I've mentioned before, if you go through my page, I get a percentage. So the easy way to do that is to go to Amazon, fill up your cart. You can go to my YouTube channel, and up in the header, they're up in the corner, somewhere in that zone on the header of my channel, there's 3 links. One is Instagram, one is Patreon, and the other is Amazon. So if you go fill up your cart, go to the Amazon link, sign in, whatever, through my page, hit the order button, then I get a little percentage of whatever you ordered. Doesn't affect your order at all, or the price of anything. So I've also had some people join in as become patrons on the Patreon account, which is fantastic. Every little bit helps, and it's going to help me, get further down the road. There's still still shirts available on Teespring. So you can, maybe buy, if you want to buy a t-shirt or something like that. Okay. Thank you, Robert. So that's just it. People think that if you go through my Amazon page, it's only for products that I endorse or offer or have links to. And I have links to Camaro parts and Mustang parts and Camry equipment and body fillers and all kinds of stuff. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what I endorse or what I have listed, because if you buy something but you go through my page, it could be lawnmower tires like Robert did. It still counts towards the totals. So just saying. Let's see, Kevin. Based on your comments from last week, I painted my 67 Mustang engine bay this past weekend with Eastwood primer and satin black. It turned out great. Awesome. I'll give you 2 bells for that. So that's a shout out. There's a combination of people that were in on that. It wasn't just me. It was I forget who was it. Harvey. I think Harvey had brought up the idea of using that product. So that's a big plus. Shout out to Harvey for that as well. Okay, so Paul's not answering. Must be out sanding the Suburban that's down to bare metal. Good one, Dave. Yeah, we walked around Paul's Suburban that he's building, and the joke is he keeps on buying body filler and puts it all over this thing, and then sands it all off, and then puts more on and sands it all off. So I was trying to give him some advice. I was really trying to help him. I give some advice on that. Okay. I have the banner at the bottom of the screen, and I've mentioned it before, and it's open to anybody. If somebody wants to be on the live stream, they can do that. They just send me an email, and I will send them a link from this live stream, and then we can get you on here and we can talk about stuff. So I like doing that. I like having people interact and be part of the program. Yes, Darlene, definitely. I mean, it sounds, if you think about it, again, I can understand people saying, well, wait a minute. He doesn't offer toilet paper. He doesn't offer shampoo, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like I said, fill up the cart, go to my link, order stuff. And then like I said, I get a percentage of that. Probably the best return that I've had on any of that stuff is through I've had people buy mini splits, the air conditioners from my videos that I did. That's probably my highest return because it's a big ticket item. So that's order mini splits. Everybody needs one. Guido, you order. Oh, he says order. Amazing. I'm sure you mean you order it from Amazon. Yeah, I mean it's anything. If you were to go through my page, it just basically it's just Amazon's rewarding me for having people show up to their site. That's all it is, and it's not a huge markup or huge percentage, but if thousands of people are buying their products anyway and linking through my page, well, hey, it helps. So, yeah, okay, Darlene. Well, it makes heat too. Just remember that it's a heater too. But he would probably struggle with the temperatures in Alaska, so I get it. Paul. All right, Paul. We had a question. We were asking about the options of tilt wheels in Cougars and whether it was a common or uncommon item. Randall had a question about that. So it's on you now, Paul. You have to give us as much information as you can about the tilt wheel setups on the Cougars. Paul was doing the exhaust on an 05 Impala. Okay. Yeah. All right, Guido. Yeah. I mean, it's easy. And I don't know I'm sure there's a way, because I can't order against my stuff. I can't order against my page, but I'm assuming there's a way you can make it like save the link. I don't know, because I haven't tried to do that. I don't know how to make that happen without it. Like if you save whatever page, it usually takes you to that screen. I don't know how to do that with Amazon. I just know that if you go to my banner, and like I said, it's right in that zone, and click on it, then it'll get you in there. Okay, Brian, ready for paint on my project, looking at Eastwood and Summit, making my head spin. Good reviews on both. Think I will just spin the bottle and pick one. Yeah. Probably a reasonable choice. I mean, I've heard good things about Summit, and obviously I've heard good things about Eastwood. I've used some Summit products. The epoxy I think was fine. So I don't blame you. Okay, let me see here. The referral link has a time limit, expires, then you have to renew it at your link on YouTube. Okay, well, thank you, Robert. I didn't know how that worked, but my link on YouTube is always going to be good, from my understanding. Should always be good. I don't see why it would change. But you're saying if you saved it as a referral on your taskbar, that is eventually going to go away or not be. You have to go back and renew it on the YouTube channel. Got it. Let's see. Paul, as Jack Simpson said, it isn't that rare. All right. And a fair number of high option cars had them. Okay. Well, there's your answer, Randall. Hopefully that gives you some insight. But yeah, I'd still put the tilt column in. Why not? Why not? Oh, that's the other thing. There's, like I said, if it's not one thing, it's another. Yesterday, we were having Father's Day, and we just had some pizza, nothing fancy. I just wanted pizza. And of course, my kids were here, and my grandson was here. And the day was going by fine, had some cloudy weather, and it started raining. And at some point, what's unique about where I live is on one side of the street, it's one power company, and on the other side of the street, it's a different power company. And probably 7 times out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, if there's a failure, It's the company across the street from us, which is good for us. But for some reason they have issues all the time. And anyway, we don't know what happened, but it sounded like almost like a flare gun or something you'd fire that would have or a rocket type of thing where you'd have a concussion and then a secondary sound, like it, took off like a bottle rocket, has a whistle and then pop. That's kind of what it sounded like. And my wife said there was smoke coming off the telephone pole right across from our driveway. So the people across the street lost power. So they had to come in and had trucks over there and trying to figure out what was going on. So we're all just kind of, hate it for them, which there's nothing we can do. And at some point, my wife had said, "Hey, did you call your dad and say Happy Father's Day?" So, okay, yeah, I'll call my dad. I'm sitting there on the recliner in the living room, TV's on, blah, blah, watching stuff and whatever. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we hadn't had any dark clouds or anything weird, no rain coming down. It seemed like out of nowhere, pow, lightning strike right outside the house. And as soon as I saw the flash, I heard a very loud snap sound. I mean, inside the house. And I thought, oh no, what's going on? So I went looking, trying to see if anything was smoking. You don't know what has happened. So I got off the phone with my dad and I'm looking around, can't find anything wrong, can't find anything broken or smoking or whatever. And I look at my desktop computer that I use primarily to make all my videos, and it's off. And I thought, oh, that's not good. So I went down and I hit the power on button. Nope, no power on. So thankfully I have my laptop as a backup. And the thing is, I have tons of information saved on that computer. And I had to, when I made the video I made today, I had to make it out here in the garage because, using the laptop. So that computer is now at the shop getting checked out, and we're going to find out if something's burned up or not. But I took it apart, opened it up. I didn't see anything burnt. But hopefully it's just a power supply. Paul is going to Advanced Auto Parts. Okay. I like the way Paul is talking in first person. Paul is back. Paul is taking a break. I'll give you a bell for that, Paul. That's good. Yeah, Brian, I don't know if it was a transformer or not, because the pole doesn't have a transformer on it. That's just it. It is an independent pole that just acts as a pivot point to go back to the person's property. There's nothing on it. So, Kevin, can you give your opinion on aftermarket wheels? I'm considering either 16 or 17-inch torque thrust wheels. What is everyone's opinion and which looks better? I don't want the wheels to look too big. You know what, Kevin? I'll tell you this. It depends on your car to a point. 65 and 6, you may struggle a little bit with a good looking, 17-inch scale wheel, maybe. I mean, but I'm just saying, because you got to look at tire clearance and that sort of thing. I don't know if I have any videos on it yet, but I have some 17-inch wheels on the 68 Mustang, the Jade Mustang. And you've seen it probably in some of the video clips. I don't know. But I like those wheels a lot. They're very similar to the torque thrust. I don't know the specific dimensions. I think the rear wheels are 9 inches wide and the front ones are 8. So I haven't had the front ones on the car yet, but the back ones I think look fantastic. And so that's what I'm going with. If that helps at all, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, darling. I mean, like I said, there's no transformer on that pole. So yeah, that's just it. No transformer on that pole. It has to be something else, or it had to be, I don't know. Let's see, Mark, Charlie, Kevin, I put 15-inch torque thrust 2 on mine and like it. Okay, so there's an opinion on that. Robert. Well, it wasn't it was almost like my mind is saying like a flare gun, like you would fire a flare gun or something that had a compressed launching kind of sound to it, like, and then a secondary, like a report, let's say, as it's called. You know, in the military, you'd have a call and report or whatever. But I don't know. It was really, I was out in the garage when I heard it, and I didn't see the smoke. My wife had seen it, but anyway. So Paul's given some information to Randall. There's an excellent book out there called Cougars by the Numbers by Kevin Marty. Not sure if it breaks down options like tilt. Okay. So that's in the Marty family. So good. Thank you for that. Wallace, I just turned on my Senville 24,000 single stage for the first time. Cool. And he's my 987-foot house and it works great. There you go. If it was a Mr. Cool, I'd give you 2 bells, but I'll give you 1 bell since it's some other brand. Unless you got it through my Amazon account. Kevin, do you have surge protector for your computer, power supply? Well, you know what? We do, but not on my computer. I didn't even think about it. I thought I had a power strip with a built-in fuse of some sort, but I guess not. I know on my wife's computer and accessories on that side of the office, it has a battery backup / surge protector thing. So I need to come up with something to try to protect this computer. Hopefully I don't have to replace it, but if I do, I really hope that the hard drive didn't get damaged because that's all my saved information, videos, and stuff like that. But we'll see. Going to find out tomorrow. They'll let me know if it's just a power supply, and then we'll go from there. Darlene, could use a video on brake, clutch, fuel pedal, reinstall, and adjustments. Yeah, that would be a good video, but I don't have anything that has a clutch setup that I could reference. I did on the Jade Mustang when I put in the brakes on that car. I went into detail on installing the brake pedal and relocation of it. The fuel pedal, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's not overly complicated. I'll say that. It has a couple of bolts that hold the brake pedal in, and it has a pivot point. And drops into the floor. But it could be useful to make a video for that. So good suggestion. Let's see, Robert, time to look at NAS for your video backups. Basically a box with several hard drives in it. Yeah, I need to do that because I've got lots of videos, and there's lots of videos on what is now my wife's computer, which is my last desktop computer that I used. And, sometimes I haven't gone back to edit a bunch of stuff or anything. I have talked about doing that with some of the past videos and condensing some stuff instead of having in the GMC Frankentruck. I have a bunch of videos that are 4 or 5 minutes long, and I should pull those videos off of YouTube and condense them together into one 15 or 20-minute video rather than lose everything, because somebody might see the first one and never see the second, third, fourth, and fifth or whatever. But if I had them all in one video, then I'd be further ahead with that. Jerry, lightning goes in 3 directions: sky to sky, sky to ground, and ground to sky. This might explain the smoking in the pole without a transformer. Well, that's a good answer. Thank you, Jerry. More coffee. So anyway, it's been interesting this past week or so. Lots of stuff just going on all over the place. Of course, having the Father's Day and that sort of thing is great. Let me see if this is okay. No, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one. All right. So it's showing right now, I have like 55 viewers on this stream and 29 thumbs up. So somebody slack it. Don't forget to throw a thumbs up on there. It helps the YouTube algorithms, get things further ahead or whatever. And let's see, what was the other thing I was going to mention? I had a conversation today, this afternoon, another conversation. Again, more things just taking time. But this one was probably more beneficial in some sense. I think Paul mentioned earlier he was going to Advanced Auto Parts to pick up some stuff. Well, I'm working on an affiliation with Advanced Auto Parts. And I'm trying to get some more information on there so that I can be comfortable with what they're offering. Basically, it wouldn't be a sponsor to the channel. It would be kind of like the Amazon thing. So if I do a video on, like, say this Impala, for example, I bought the brake shoes and wheel cylinders from Advanced Auto Parts. If I put the links for those parts from Advance into my video, like I do on the descriptions, I always try to put Amazon and Patreon and whatever. If I put that in there, then if somebody clicks on that link and buys it from Advance, I'll get a percentage. So it wouldn't be on every video. It would only be the ones that I would say are specific to, Advanced Auto Parts. And then they also were curious about me doing, and I'm not sure how this would work yet, but doing specific videos for Advanced Auto Parts. And I have to get more information on that, because let's look at it from, if I make a video on YouTube, people pay to put ads on my videos, and over time that adds up. So when you have 500 videos, if over time of a certain whatever video making revenue, it might take, depending on the video, it might take 4 years to make $200. Okay. But some videos go kind of viral, and it might take 4 months to make $200. Just saying, there's all kinds of variables that come into play. So if Advance wants me to make videos specific to parts that they sell or offer, but they want to retain the rights to the video, well, they're going to have to pay me to make that video, because if I can't advertise on YouTube, then it doesn't do me any benefit. I don't gain anything, from that. So I'm trying to get more information on that. Hopefully it works out to where it may be just simple enough to put the links to whatever. If I change out an alternator or something along those lines, and then if somebody wants to buy that alternator, they can buy it, blah, blah, blah. I get a, percentage, whatever it may be. So that is another thing that's on the horizon with the whole process. And we're going to see how that goes. So Kevin, check out Drobo attached storage. It is a bit expensive, but worth it for data you can't replace. Okay. Drobo attached storage. Well, thank you for that. I'll give you a bell. Let's see. Jack, whole house surge protector, not too expensive. You might be able to buy it through Amazon. Yeah, might. I need to look into that. And really, the laptop tends to stay out here in the garage. And I guess I don't know. I could disconnect it from things and just let it sit here, but maybe I need to look into that as well, or something for the laptop to protect it. Jorge, glad you're here, man. Happy Father's Day to you as well. Hope things are good. Haven't seen any updates on your floor pan. Did you get it figured out yet, or did you decide if you're going to put it in the other car? Lots of things to think about on that, I know. But anyway, Again, if anybody wants to get onto the stream, it's fine with me. The link is at the bottom of the page. You can jump on and we can talk about things. So it's already been an hour. That's pretty good. I don't plan to go past 2 hours today. You know, I know my record is over 3 hours, and that's just a little bit too long. So I'm going to have to adjust that. I did point out earlier that, I did the update video on the Brooklyn Pony, and that was earlier today. Tomorrow there will be a video on the brakes on the 65 Impala. Talked about that earlier, and so we can, you can check out that video as well. I think, I try to monitor as best I can the views and information that I get from the videos. And, this is a positive sign. Whenever I posted the Brooklyn Pony video, which I know everybody wants to see Brooklyn Pony videos. I know that. That actually has gotten in, let's see, I published it today. It's gotten 773 views, which is fantastic. And then, of course, 1 thumbs down. 117 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down. Which is good, because usually I get 2 thumbs down, depending on what the video is. But that's another thing that is unique, I think, with my channel. I've talked to other people who have YouTube channels. I follow certain people who they promote not like how to do car stuff or how to do X. It is more about how to grow your YouTube channel or how to whatever, that kind of thing. And one guy, he was talking about likes versus dislikes, or the ratios. And I said, you would probably be impressed if you looked at my average. And he did. And he was like, holy cow. He's like, nobody gets that kind of averages. To where out of, hundreds and hundreds of views, whatever, the ratio for my videos is amazing. You get these tons and tons of likes, and then there's like 1 or 2 that don't like it, and I think those are, again, people who have their own personal agenda. But he was pretty impressed by that. So let's see. So Robert, not today. I'm even less camera acceptable. I'm going to guess accessible. No, less camera. Oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? Not today. I'm even less camera acceptable looking today, and the shop isn't cooled off. Okay. You wanted me to read that, didn't you? So you kind of typed it up there, so I'd have to struggle with that. Let's see. Oh, Leonard Gilbreth is here. Hey, Leonard. Glad you can make it. I'm sure it's hot in California, right? I'm sure it is. Let's see. Yep. Thank you, Leonard. I like good vibes. That's a good thing. I like good vibes. Yeah, the conversations, or some of the I was talking about earlier about the taking the early retirement thing and having some options that I could take advantage of with the situation. My wife and I sat there and listened to the financial advisor, and again, gave us some good insight into what we can or could do. And that made me feel a whole lot better about the potential, because I've said it before, it can be a scary surprise. Time for the air compressor to kick on. Like I was saying, it can be a daunting situation. Oh, okay. Guido sent me some pics, you know, to think about the idea of, you know, leaving a company and all that sort of thing. So let's see. I'm gonna see if I can handle this. So okay, Jorge might be sending me a link. Yeah. And while I do this, while I send Jorge a link, he's gonna be on here shortly. I have another email from Guido. Let me see if I can pull this up. And he had sent some pictures, and he was I think he had a question. He had put a note on the okay, I'd have to download those pics real quick. So let me answer this question. Boondocker, do you have anything to say about who runs a commercial before your videos? Nope. No control over that at all. Now, that said, I know that there's some crazy stuff out there that I don't want to have, but I can't control it. I can't stop. I can't dictate any of that. The thing is, like, if I did, like, if Advanced Auto Parts were to be, you know, if I partner with them or affiliate with them, then maybe they'll buy more ads to put on the channel as kind of a roll into the product. So that's about all I can say about that. I don't have any control over it. Harvey, went to a car show in Pennsylvania yesterday with my two sons, first of this year, and it felt pretty normal. Things are opening up a bit. Cool. That's a bell. You get a bell for that. Yeah, I went to a cruise in late on Saturday, and I didn't get to look at many cars because I have people that I've known for years who don't see me that often, and they all wanted to talk to me. So I kind of had to just forget about looking at cars for a little while. And by the time I was done talking, most of the cars are gone. So let's see. Oh, wait. Darlene, my compressor arrives on July 2nd. Cannot wait to get my garage finally set up and going. That'll be a big positive. I'm happy for you on that. Let's see. Been working in your driveway. Yeah, that's tough. I've been there. Believe me, I've been there. There you go. So Randall upgraded his YouTube subscription to premium so he can spend more time with J-Daddy's Garage and less time watching commercials. Good call, Randall. And that's another thing. I know there's, and I've talked about this before, there is a, there's supposedly memberships, but I don't know how to get them on my, I don't have it as an option on my YouTube channel. So I think, I've tried to get information from YouTube and got nothing back, but I'm under the impression that if you have a membership or a membership to the channel that you don't pay for those or have to watch the ads. I don't know. I have not dealt with that specifically. Hey, Brian, glad you're here. Let's see. Robert. Yeah. That AMC Rebel Wagon, man, I would have taken that. I'm telling you, I would have given you the 383 stroker and one of the big block engines that I have sitting here. I would have given you two of those. Either one. You could have both big blocks, or you could have one big block and a 383. I'd give them for that AMC wagon. That was a pretty cool car. Kevin, just sharing for the group. Here is a Mustang web blog I really like. The author's name is Brad Albrecht. He has some really good content. Each article is like a little episode. His site, bapony.com. Okay, that's you can share that. Thank you. Okay, so good. Gary got a torque box in from CJ Pony. Just need to watch his video, my install video 30 more times now. Yeah. That's good. Watch the ads. All right. I'm going to have Jorge come on, and he's going to talk about some things, I assume. And while he is talking, I'm going to be listening, but I'm going to try to download some pictures that Guido sent me. So I'm going to add Jorge. There he is.
Hey, hi, Barry.
I can't.
Can you
There
hear
you
me?
are.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah. So what's going on?
Oh, well, doing pretty good. We got took your advice because usually that's the best way to go.
Okay.
And so we hung the door up, got it set up. I'm still fighting with those rocker panels, but I
Right.
think I'm getting really close. Got it dialed in, and then kind of decided to also I made some jigs to dial in the floors and the measurements and everything.
Right.
And the cool thing is, after I made these jigs, I think I'm going to be able to use those on the red car, and I'm going to try to restore the red car.
Okay.
So we might have a his and hers.
Yeah.
So but it's getting close. I think I've got it figured out. So it should be good. In the door gaps, so I got it down less than 3/16, and
Well,
then
that's nice.
I mean, it looks. I was amazed. I was so happy that it's actually pretty close.
Okay.
But that's the side where the original quarter panel is. I haven't gotten to the other side yet.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. But I should have it pretty close by this weekend, maybe. And maybe have the floor
Right.
almost in. But I've gotta just keep fighting with those rocker panels. I was almost thinking about buying another set, but I don't know if they're gonna be much better.
Right.
So I was like, I'll just fight with it, get it. But it's pretty close. It looks pretty good
Yeah.
so far. And I don't have to do anything to the door. I don't have to make any modifications to it. So I was really happy about that.
Good. Well, I know when we were looking at it, it was challenging.
Yeah, that's challenging. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
Let me see if I have. I'm trying to do 3 things at once right now. So.
No worries.
So. Okay. Here we go. Let me just. Wait. Let me see. I got a couple of comments on the side. Oh, here we go. Brian, just my thoughts on the advanced thing, Barry. Pass on it. You end up doing ads for them. Viewers tire of it. You will make much more from your loyal subscribers. Well, the thing is, Brian, it's not actually an ad for them. Basically, I do repair videos on cars anyway. Like serpentine belts on a Honda Odyssey. I've done that. I've done brakes on a Ford Expedition. I've done whatever. I do normal repair type videos. And it would not be, hey, this is an ad for Advanced Auto Parts. Basically, I normally show the receipt anyway. I bring it up and say, this is the parts I bought. Here's the part number. And all I have to do is say, if you're interested, there's a link in the description. You can buy the same part. That's all I need to do. It doesn't have to be like, hey, go out and buy Advanced Auto Parts today. It's just an option. And in fact, they also, from what they told me, they don't mind, because I have Amazon, my page listed as well on my descriptions. They were like, if you want to put both on there at the same time, we're fine with that. So who knows? Maybe if there's an option, you can get one cheaper, maybe from Advance than from Amazon. So just saying, it wouldn't be a rolling ad to where I'm flying an Advance banner and saying, this is the only thing you can buy. No, I'll make that very clear with them, that I would just say, hey, I bought this alternator from Advance. Link in the description. If you like it, buy it. If not, it's up to you. That's all I want to say. But I understand where you're coming from. I do appreciate that.
What about Harbor Freight? Can you do anything with those guys?
That's another thing. I've noticed that Harbor Freight now has videos of people using their tools and products. I have not gotten on board with that yet. I probably should, because I've done plenty of videos for Harbor Freight tools. But that is something else that I need to look into. There's this ball is spinning in multiple directions. it's hard to keep it under control and keep things in going smoothly. Let's say.
Yeah, the cool thing is, it sounds like it's going in the right direction. You got a lot of good things cooking, so
Yeah,
that's great.
I sure hope so. I would like to honestly just rely, if I could, on YouTube. between the two channels, it's doing okay. You know, it's doing okay, but it's nowhere near what I was, what I make at my regular job. I can tell you that, nowhere near. But and the difficulty too is they don't take out taxes, so I have to pay taxes on whatever I make, which kind of, makes it difficult.
Well, I mean, if you see these other guys, they're making, all kinds of money doing on YouTube. I mean, like a really, really great living. I mean, crazy money, and it's like,
Yeah,
and it's all nonsense. I mean, you've got really good content. You're it's really what it is. It's just nonsense.
It kills me. All right, so let's see.
Yeah, I think just I think you're going to do good. You'll just stick with it. You've got good content.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a great personality. You're real likable. Even in person.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I think just stick with it. Just keep doing it, keep refining it.
Well, you and Jack and Paul and Dave. I mean, I'm the same guy here that I am when I'm with you.
Yeah.
I met you. I'm the same guy. I don't put on a front. I don't like that. So, let me look at some of these other comments quick. Red Squirrel, same here. Replace both rockers on Dodge Ram. Almost done. That's cool.
There's hope.
Gary says, okay, yep, that is what I do. Just had to go through a whole ordeal with Rock Auto and then back orders. Okay. Let's see. Panels not available. So he had to fabricate his own panels for that Dodge. I believe that. Marshall, I used Dynacorn rockers and it was a pain to keep checking the door and fender gaps fitment. So I'm with you. Let's see. Barry, thanks for your videos. You got me motivated to get my 64.5 running again. It had been in the garage for at least 8 years. My grandparents bought it originally 260 3-speed rally pack coupe. Oh, you get 2 bells.
2 bells for that.
That's pretty cool to have a 64.5 rally pack. That's nice. Let's see. Dave Bertain, hi Barry. Time will end up paying off. I sure hope so, Dave. I sure hope so. That's the goal. That is the goal. It's just me. Sounds like Barry is a teddy bear. Well, I won't get that far. But I'm not. I mean, I'm the same guy here as I am in person. I don't pretend. Let me see if I can get these pictures. I'm not sure what Guido was asking about these pictures because. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see if I can find them. Where do they save them to? That's the question. Okay. I got that one. And then the second one. Okay. So Guido, I think his comment was about putting on or installing an oil cooler. So this is the product he has. I don't know if it says, I don't know if I can move it or not. High performance transmission cooler. That's all I see. And then this is a second picture.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure what Guido's question is. So we have to get him to chime in and let us know what he wants to know on that. So, okay. So I'm gonna pull that off and see if he can respond to that. Let's see. Oh, so Dave. Well, okay. So you're saying, by the way, it is Britain, just like Britain, England. Okay. Well, the extra T is kind of throwing me. I'm just saying, Dave. It looks like it should be Dave Britain because it's got 2 T's in there, but I'll take your word for it. So Dave Britton. Okay. But see, it's more unique if you say Brittain. It makes it sound like it's some, exotic name. So,
like a movie star name.
yeah, Dave Brittain. Yeah, it has a nice ring. It has a nice flow. Dave Brittain. See how that rolls? Dave Brittain. I'm improving it. Red Squirrel, yeah, Barry. And if you ever need a substitute for your channel, just get Jorge to wear your hat. No one will know the difference. Yeah, probably so. Okay, so Dave Britain says a little greater, like Great Britain. However, I'm talking him into it. See, Dave Brittain. See how unique that is? If you go to you have a conversation with somebody, yeah, hi, I'm Dave Brittain, and they're gonna go, oh, that's a unique name. I'm just saying, trying to help. I'm here to help one way or another. So, okay, so I had posted those pictures, and I don't know if Guido's going to chime in. I know he's got his kids to deal with, so let me see if I can go back to his question. Okay, so he says, sent you an email. Maybe some of the gurus can chime in. Sent pics. Again, I don't know what specifically the question may be. Is it a good idea to use an oil cooler? Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. As far as branding, they're all pretty much the same, in my opinion. Just
all made in China.
What's that?
It's all made in China. Everything's made in China.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of just getting it mounted and hooking it up. That's all I can say.
Well, the thing is, what's he trying to do with it? Are you trying to cool the transmission? Are you trying to cool the engine? Like, what are you trying to do with it?
Yeah, that's where no comment yet. So he must be busy. Let's see, Leonard Walters. Well, just looked up from making dinner, and it's almost seeing twins. But we have a different heritage, so that much we know. We have a different heritage, so you can't always assume somebody is from somewhere based on their looks, right? So,
but it was great talking to you. It was really amazing how much we did have in common. It was pretty neat.
Yeah. Yep.
That was pretty neat.
Yep.
And I was actually thinking about dragging out my scrapbook and see if I can maybe send you some pictures of some of the crazy stuff I used to do.
Yeah.
Like that, like the Beetle was pretty neat. 150 mile an hour bug. I built was like 19. I gotta see if I can find some of that crazy stuff.
Well, that's one thing I've had delusions about. Is taking that little fiberglass dune buggy that I have, and it has a 68 single carb engine. And I've told other people I don't really know much about Volkswagens. I mean, I can cut one up and weld it together and fix stuff, but I've never really dealt with the engine. This one just happened to run when I built the car. I never even took it out of the chassis when I was building it. And then, I'm assuming it's got like 32 horsepower. It's not a powerful engine by any means. So I know, dual carbs gives it more power. I'm sure there's variations. You can change heads or whatever. I don't know. But
yeah, I can help you with that. I mean, I used to do that stuff in my sleep, literally, when I'm hung over.
Well, I couldn't imagine having 100 horsepower in that dune buggy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that thing would fly and be pretty scary to take in a turn. I know that much.
They can build some crazy stuff now. I mean, even when I was doing them, I mean, what we did was we were just taking the way to really do it is you take you could take like a 914 engine, like those pancake motors, and then they used to make these fiberglass kits, and you would just get like a 911 fan shroud, and you put on it would look like a mini 911 engine, and then you would build. And then because the stuff bolts right up to that transmission, so you take like a 914 engine or like take it out of an old VW bus, like an air-cooled bus, and then just convert that over, and you'll have dependable horsepower.
Right.
with a lot of torque,
I
without.
mean, it's got the 4-cylinder 68 bug engine in it. I mean, that's what's in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, they're all air cooled.
Is it 12 volt or 6 volt?
12 volt.
Oh yeah, it'll blow right up. You don't have to do.
I mean, yeah. I wouldn't mind taking the engine that I have and modifying what I have, rather than go buy something.
Well, you could, but by the time it's almost, you're going to spend almost as much money doing it.
Okay.
You do it, and generally what the guys used to do, we put like Weber carburetors, like duals on both sides. So it was like 4-barrel carburetors, like a barrel for each cylinder. That's how I used to do it.
Okay.
And it was a pain synchronizing it, but man, it worked really well. And by the time you spend all the parts and stuff, and then you're building something that's going to hold up, because those stock motors they really can't take it.
Okay.
When you really start pushing them.
Yeah.
But like the 914, those or VW bus motors, I'm telling you, they're really good. They're bulletproof. They're good motors.
So I guess I'd have to do some research on it to know, where to find one, because I'm not in any kind of VW circles at all, and I'm not in a big hurry. I follow some people on Facebook. Well, gosh, I can't remember the name, but it's a VW dedicated, company, and they sell engines that are built, really nice looking engines, but they're also building like Baja off-road serious stuff. I don't need that. I just want a little more. I don't need to flip the car over, because it's a little fiberglass body, and
it probably flies now. I mean, it probably goes pretty quick now. It's like
it actually does. That's what I'm saying. I could just do a little upgrade to the 68 engine. Even if it was like 60 horsepower, it would be a major improvement.
Well, you could. What year is it again?
68.
All right, 68. So you could put bigger cylinders and bigger heads on it.
Yeah.
And slightly different cam, and then the 4-barrel carburetors and headers. I mean, that'll probably give you another 35, 40 horsepower if you do that. Just put bigger jugs in it. Change the displacement. See, that stuff I know.
Okay.
Sheet metal, not so much.
Yeah. All right. So Leonard has to go. He's got some company. Let's see. Robert, the Baja Bug I rebuilt, I cheated and started off with a new 1600. They were still building them in Mexico at the time, and they were $600 brand new. I would give $600 for a brand new 1600 engine. So, okay. So Guido is asking about, it's a transmission cooler, not an oil cooler. Sorry. Yes, put it in. I don't know what the question may be, but anytime you can cool off fluids, oil, transmission fluid, antifreeze, obviously it's going to help and help extend the life of the component that it's attached to. So,
heat robs horsepower. So the more you can keep anything cool, the better performance you're going to get out of it.
Yep. We were talking. Were you and I talking about the race engines, the Chevy engine that I built, where I turned the pistons around? Did I talk about that?
No, I don't think you mentioned that.
Oh, we did, because we were talking about piston slap and offset of the wrist pin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe. About that. This was a conversation we did talk about this. Okay, so hold on, Gary. It's the email address at the bottom of the screen, right there. So you can send something in from there. And then let's see. Leonard saying he found an original Ford transcooler and lines from Ranchero for his Torino with the mounts. Wow. Okay. Give you a bell for that.
Before I forget, speaking of parts, so in my company, we just basically, we've got all notifications that within the next couple of months, we're going to see a big, how do I think word it? Basically, we're going to have a big interruption with parts from China. Really? And all that stuff, so, and it's going to be like pretty much across the board anywhere you go. So if you guys need stuff, or especially electronics or anything like that, it's a good time to do it now, because by August, September, it's going to be a problem.
Okay.
And prices are probably going to drive up. We're gonna have a problem with appliances probably in the next month or two. So if you guys need anything, probably the time to get it now.
Good observation. Good. I mean, good info to have. So, thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Hold on just a second. Let me get back here. Okay, I'm not sure. Nope. All right. So I had an email from Paul. I'm not sure what he was trying to send me, but so Gary, we answered that question. Hot Busa 08, who is also, I should say, the winner of the hat.
Cool.
So I got to get that boxed up and get it sent out. So his question is, he's thinking about doing a camshaft roller lifters conversion on his 289, and I'm a little confused as to what I would need to make this happen. Do you have any advice as to what I would need to get? I don't. I mean, with a roller, if you're putting in roller lifters, they have to index. So they have to stay, the roller portion of it has to stay in line with the cam lobes. Okay, so usually they connect two rollers together with a pivot point, and one roller lifter keeps the other one from rotating. A standard style lifter is meant to rotate within its bore so that as it cycles, it doesn't get a wear pattern. It's kind of meant to move. But roller lifters are designed to have wheels on the bottom, which is the roller, and they have to stay indexed. So they always have to follow that pattern on the camshaft. And like I said, they're connected to each other so that they can't rotate. They can't turn away. So that's the big thing with roller lifters, is having that setup. Now, I'm sure there's kits out there that they sell them. I have not experimented with that myself, but that's probably the biggest thing, is just having, getting the components in. Otherwise, it's the same function. You're going to have the lifters ride the camshaft, and the lifters push the push rods and rotate the, rocker arms. So that's just the biggest difference between lifters from anything I know.
So that's what his question was. You just went over what the difference was?
Well, I'm thinking it says he's confused as to what he would need to make this happen. So I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any modifications you would have to make to the engine. Basically the lifters keep each other in place. I don't think there's any special mount assembly. I don't know for sure, but I just know that the lifters are paired. So just think of it that way.
I don't think there's that much advantage when you're just swapping them over.
Well, it depends. The thing is,
if you're just doing that, if you're doing a bunch of other stuff with it, that's one thing.
Well, sure. Yeah, if you're just converting it to rollers just to have rollers, I think the only thing you don't really, you still got to keep things adjusted.
It's more of a pain in the neck, really. I think, because you got to you got to constantly adjust those with a feeler gauge, right? I mean,
I'm not sure how about constant, but there may be some tolerance built into the function of it. Whereas a regular hydraulic lifter, as it rides on the lobe, you've got wear contact. Whereas the roller, you've got a rotational contact. That roller is meant to make it last longer, keep the cam from wearing out, keep the lifter from wearing out, supposedly. So that's just my thoughts. It becomes a rotating assembly, rather than a contact grinding type of environment. So let's see. Tony just stopped by to say how much I enjoyed your channel. No screaming, just solid explanations. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, if you hear me screaming, there's something really wrong. Either I'm on fire or I've cut my hand off or something like that. But hopefully I never get to that point. So, yeah, the hat's going to be coming. I know you sent me an email already, so I got to get it boxed up.
Did Jack win something too? Like Jack from Jersey?
Yeah, he won a special prize.
Ooh, a surprise!
The number 3, 4, and 5. I'll get a surprise gift or whatever, whatever thing you want to call it. I'm not going to say what it is, but they'll catch on as soon as they get it. They'll know. I just thought it'd be fun to have something different that instead of saying what it is, you just get it and then you know. Let's see, Robert Adams. I'm not getting a lump of coal for my prize. I can pick it up if I need to, just to fly it away. No, I'll send it. Yeah, Robert won. He won something. Jack, Robert, and Trip Corbin won the other secret prize.
Secret prize.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. Hot Busa, what would be the best place to get the parts from? That's a good question. Typically, the default answer is going to be Summit Racing. You can also look at JEG's Performance. It's another company. And I don't know if it used to be like what TRW, I think, had a company. There was a company, I think it was called TRW, that used to sell kits. They were usually good price, but can't say the quality was the best. So, I'm going to say Summit and JEG's.
I mean, do you have a local speed shop in your area? Sometimes it might pay to pay a little bit more from the speed shop, and they can kind of help you and kind of guide you, when you're kind of doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They always, usually those guys, there's always somebody at a speed shop that knows what they're talking about. They can really help you out.
Here's a good answer from Robert. If you can avoid a flat tappet cam, do it, because the lifters are garbage these days, and getting a good batch is not easy. Many builders have issues with cams going flat with flat tappets now. So I would probably agree with that explanation or that answer, because stuff they built, and this is true for a lot of stuff that is hardened or heat treated. I tend to know some things about heat treat, but it used to be like brake rotors that you bought on a car built in the 60s, 70s. They would heat treat that entire brake rotor. The whole thing would go in the furnace and get heat treated and become hard. Now, they basically heat treat the outer portion. They don't do the whole thing. They'll only heat treat to a certain depth of the rotor face, and they don't care. It's cheaper. That's why you buy parts cheaper now. So the idea is you buy this thing or you replace it, and as it wears down, you just replace it again and recycle that first one. That's why people used to get rotors turned a lot. You could take an old GM, Ford, whatever rotor, and you could trim it down and square up the face because the whole thing was heat treated and solid. New stuff, you're running a risk. If you've already warped the rotor, it's too late.
It's done. Yeah, you're not getting on that.
You try to turn that thing, it's just going to take off the heat treated material, and it's going to warp within a few weeks. So that's an observation, but that's a good observation from Robert. So I'll give him a bell for that answer.
What about Barry? What about those Woodrow brake systems?
Willwood?
Yeah, Woodrow. Yeah, I can never pronounce that.
Yeah, I can't say for sure what they do. I'm just talking about aftermarket or buying, from a parts store or stuff like that. I would assume they put more effort into keeping their rotors built, but I don't know. I cannot say for sure. They may be just buying them off the shelf and putting holes in them and selling them. So anyway. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me get caught up here. Okay. Thanks for all the good information. Thanks to both guys. Okay. You're welcome, Hatbusa. And here's another answer. PAW, what TRW? PAW, Performance Auto Warehouse. That was another company that used to sell kits. I don't know if they still do, but you can also check there if you want. Hindsight, this is Roger. Hydraulic roller lifters don't need adjustment, but solid rollers do. So consider that as well, the hydraulic roller lifters. he'd go with hydraulic if you go that route. So good answer to Roger.
That's good answer.
Let's see. Okay, so Guido is saying, please scroll up when I'm needing what I'm needing. Read what I posted. That cooler is insufficient. What size would I need? Does anyone know? Okay, now it's getting better. As stuff goes past me, I can't keep up with everything. But so Guido's asking, what size transmission cooler would somebody recommend for his 66 fastback? That's the question. So if anybody has any insight into that and can give a good answer, you get a bell. Let me page on down here. So Jerry is saying roller lifters can easily add 15 horsepower and reduce wear on the cam. So, okay, I'll give you a bell for that.
I haven't seen it, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, it does reduce wear. I will say that. And whether it's 15 horsepower, I don't know. It probably depends a lot on the rest of the engine configuration.
Yeah, I mean, guys who would run those, and usually it's because they've done a whole head job, and you have a lot more. You're dealing with a higher RPMs and a lot more valve spring pressure.
Okay.
To help it, but.
Okay, so Guido says it's okay. I will figure it out. It's too confusing. Too many comments. Good night. I'm sorry, man.
Sorry, man.
It's hard to... Well, the thing is, whenever there's a question, we need as much information about the question. I didn't understand what you were asking, so
yeah.
Sorry.
I think I could probably help him a little, like that type that he has that kind of goes back and forth like that. They're really not that efficient. The ones that look like a radiator, they look like a little mini radiator where they come in, those are a lot more efficient.
Okay.
And, you don't need as much real estate, when you're running one of those instead of, so that one there, like that picture there, see how it goes back and forth, back and forth?
Yes.
It almost looks like something that you'd see like on an air conditioner,
right,
or in the back of a TV. Back of a refrigerator.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The other type where it almost looks like a mini radiator.
Oh, like a heater core.
Yeah.
A little heater core for the heater box.
Yeah. Those are way more efficient than with the coil.
Okay. Well, maybe that'll help Guido out. I don't know. But it would be nice to give him that information. So you may want to research that, Guido. Yeah, Robert's saying everything is induction hardened now. Easy, cheap, and fast. Yep. Jerry is saying agree with the hydraulic lifters. They require less adjustment. And also EBC rotors rock. So I don't know who EBC is, but I'll take your word for it. Jerry is asking what type of transmission. See, that's another question. I don't know exactly what transmission. I don't know if it's an AOD or not that's in Guido's vehicle. So see, that's what I mean. The more information we can get together, the better answer. But I like your answer, Jorge, for the mini radiator type of cooler. So Robert is saying when he picks a cooler, he finds the biggest he can find that'll fit. That isn't stupid expensive. Well, that's reasonable. Jerry is saying he agrees with Jorge. So you got a thumbs up from Jerry.
Cool.
Let's see. DP, I've used Wood disc brakes on 2 cars now. Great quality. Thank you for that. Good information. Let's see. Plate. Robert's saying plate type coolers are far better. I'm not familiar with a plate type cooler. I might have to research that.
That's kind of what we're talking about. They look like the heater core type.
Okay.
I wonder if I can find a picture and send it to you.
Okay, so Hot Boost is thinking about doing the whole upgrade with the roller cam, roller lifters. Harvey, roller lifters can run heavier valve springs with less risk to wear out the cam. Can achieve higher engine RPM with less risk of valve float. That's a good answer, Harvey. Thank you for that.
That's kind of what I said.
Yeah. Well, but it's nice to see it worded in certain ways.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so EBC is made in the UK, and you're saying it's sold by Summit Racing? I think I may have heard of EBC now that you mention it. Let's see, Joseph, I'm going to say Hager. Have you ever installed AODE in a 65 Mustang that worked better than just an AOD? I have not. I don't have an answer for that. Sorry. No answer. Can't help you. I'd like to, but I don't have an answer. As I mentioned before, with the updated video on the Brooklyn Pony, my plan is going to be test fitting the transmission that's going to go in the car. So the dummy that I've been using, again, that was just for mocking things and not having to lift I don't even know what the transmission weighs. If it's 150 pounds, I don't know. I have no idea. But what I'm going to do is use the hoist and lift the transmission out of the box and put it on the transmission jack that I have and snake that up inside. Hopefully everything goes smooth, but it'll go up on the tranny jack. And, it used to be when I was a little younger, I could probably still do it, but I'm not going to. I would just grab a hold of a transmission and lift it up and, put it up on the tranny jack. But no, I'll figure out a way to use the hoist to get it up in the air and set it on the jack.
Look at it and it hurts my back.
What's that?
I just look at the transmission and it starts hurting my back.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do a lot of stupid lifting, and, occasionally I still do, but I don't have to. That's the thing. I've got to think smarter. Here's another one. Robert has some good information. The number one benefit of roller lifters is no cam break-in. The engine is ready to go at first start. That's a good point. That's all right. You're just looking for bells now. That's all it is. I'll give you another bell. Boondocker plate type are different. B&M makes some. Okay. Rudderify. Go with a 470W over an AODE, which is basically what I'm putting in the Brooklyn Pony right now. It's 470.
Okay, I just found a transmission cooler for Guido on Amazon.
Oh, good. Let's see. Darlene, advice for when you don't have a transmission jack. Find some strong friends.
Well, you can kind of use a floor jack if, just
right. You can use a floor jack depending on how high the car is. You just have to do the math. Like, think about how tall the transmission is and where it needs to go to come out of the car.
So automatic or stick?
Well, I'm going to assume automatic. But for an automatic transmission, if it's, 17 inches tall or 18 inches tall from the pan to the top of the bell housing, you have to have that much clearance plus the height of the jack when you bring it down and out. Because I've done it before. I've done it in like a gravel pit where I've used a jack that I didn't have that much clearance and I could get the transmission under, and then I had to lift the transmission up a little bit and get the jack under, and then, work the two together. And you also have to be careful with the pan. So I would use like a big, like a 2x6 or 2x8, to spread the load across the pan so that you're not compressing it. So just think about that. There's also the, what was it? I know that Leonard had copied Ricard's jack system where he took two scissor lift jacks and made a lift to do that sort of thing. But in your situation, you're probably not going to want to do that just because it's time consuming and probably not that beneficial. But if you had for her, huh?
Is there a Taylor rental? You can rent a transmission jack from Taylor Rental.
Well,
I've done that.
Up in Alaska, so I don't know what the options are.
Probably not.
Probably not.
They might, maybe.
But ideally, you could do it as long as you have the clearance, and don't do it by yourself. Trust me. Have somebody else with you to help control the jack and stabilize the transmission on the jack. It's too hard. I mean, it's really hard to do it by yourself. I'll just tell you that, because I've done it to where I've used my leg to operate the jack handle while I'm trying to stabilize the jack, and it gets very sketchy. So have at least one other person help you with that. And Rudder's saying they do make trans jack plates for floor jacks too. So check into that. I don't know if Harbor Freight has them or not, or you can look on Amazon and and see if they sell it. But it's an adapter that you can put on a regular jack, and it'll sit on the plate, attached to that. So that may be a good. It's a stick shift. Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, piece of cake.
Well, sort of. With the stick shift, you're gonna just you'll pull the transmission out of the bell housing. Just know that it'll be easier to separate. If it's like a 3-speed or whatever, you have to get the shifter off, obviously, because you have to slide the transmission back to get the center post out, or the input shaft out of the clutch and bring it down. So, but still get some help in there, because that's not the lightest transmission either.
And just so when you're doing it too, make sure you put a jack on the front of the engine by the pulley with like a block of wood, because as soon as you yank that out of there, that engine's usually going to go forward. That's
something to consider.
You know.
Well, I know that, of course, the engine, the mounts that I have in the Brooklyn Pony are those rigid, coming off the cross member. So it's a whole different animal. But that's a good observation, though. Be careful with all that.
Yeah, definitely have help when you're doing it, in case you get something caught or.
Yeah. Let's see. Robert's saying make a flat board with lips that you can attach to the floor jack. BTDT, no fun. Okay. Harvey, have an adapter for my floor jack to trans jack, cheap and works good, pretty safe. There you go. Jerry says I made an adapter with my floor jack for installing a rear end. That's a good thing. And okay, so Dave is saying our Advanced Auto loans tools like trans jacks. Now, I've not tried to rent a tool transmission jack from them, but I'll take your word for that one. Darlene's going to see if she can find one she can rent. And Resto Alcy is here. Good morning from Australia. It's a shame I didn't win the flag. Maybe next time. Well, you know what? Somebody else from Australia won the flag, so you can go fight him for that. I think it's Rob Bijik, something like that. But you could go, challenge him to a fight over that flag if you want.
Can you get more flags and maybe you can sell them?
Actually, I have one left, and I don't know that I can still communicate with the person I made the purchase from. I'm sure I can have more made, could sell them. Or, as I've shown before, I have that vinyl banner that I could probably sell the banners. Those are, because the banner would probably be better for in like a garage, I guess. I don't know. What's that?
I got a spot in my garage for one.
Yeah.
Let's take some of those posters down.
So, all right. We're running out of time. We got 50 seconds left. I'm sorry, Resto Alcy just got here, but I'm not going to go past 2 hours. Or well, I'll stay close to 2 hours. Let's put it that way. So okay, Darlene's seen the adapter to Riley's. Good. She can make a trip to the parts store and see if they can get them. So okay, we got. Yeah. I guess I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to sell products or put stuff that I have into the Amazon store. I don't know how that works. Like if I was trying to sell it in the Amazon store, I don't know. Like for my hats and my shirts, the ones that I made specifically, the gray ones, I have no idea how to make that somehow available. Like other than taking orders and then having PayPal, making a payment through PayPal and boxing it up and all that stuff. So I'm not real good at the whole marketing thing. Yeah, Robert's going to help dig the ditch for the flag. He's talking about the trench. Since I have the Ethernet cable out here, I still have to run the conduit underground out to the garage. So
how's that? Is there a big difference?
apparently, this is now on Ethernet. So everybody was saying that it's doing much better. Dave says I need a website. I actually have a website. I just don't use it. There's actually a website that's joedaddysgarage.com. But I don't have enough support. I don't have, it's just me. It's just me running the show. So it's like, how do I manage this and how do I manage that and go back and forth and so, but I'm open.
You need to find an intern / beer assistant.
Yes. Yes. Dave's saying, don't forget the thumbs up. And I'm already at the 2 hours.
I got one quick question for you before I forget. What do you think I can't remember if you told me this or not, but what's a good gap for the bottom of the door? Like 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch. I've been looking online, looking at different cars, and
it's going to be quarter to 3/16.
Okay.
The real thing is to have it consistent, and we talked about that some where you might have to do some modifications, but 1/4 to 3/16 is where I would shoot for. So, all right. Let's see. Resto Alcy, and in turn that can dig holes. Okay, I lost the conversation there. Yes, Darlene, I do have a Teespring pay. No, Teespring is, yes, I do have that, but the products they sell on Teespring, I have no influence on other than providing a logo or a caption or something along those lines, or a graphic that I have somebody else make, and then they'll copy it and put it on the shirts. So I don't think they do anything with flags, but I could do some research and see if I can find the person who made the flags for me and maybe get some more made up. But I know I have one left, and I don't know if I'm going to give that away eventually or not. But anyway, I'm going to call it a night. It's time to go get in the house, and I'm glad, Jorge, I'm glad you showed up and put some insight into this stuff. It's always nice to have somebody come in and just share information. It's always good.
I'm glad I can help. I appreciate everybody and appreciate you and all the help from the community. It's really great. I think this has been really motivating me to get these projects done.
Good.
So, and I think my goal now is to get the white car done, get that, really close on the road, get that running. And then once I do that, then I'm going to figure out how to get the red car done and either, like put it back together where I could maybe sell it to somebody so they can finish it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just do it myself, see how it goes.
Yeah. You can have a pair of, his and hers, like you said.
Well, it took me forever to get that shop to, where I could function out of it. So it'd be a waste to not do anything with all that stuff there,
Yeah, that's true. Take advantage of it. All right. Well, I'm going to sign you off.
Okay.
Again, thanks for being here. And
night, Barry. Night, guys.
All right. So Jorge is off the air. Everybody else is checking out. I'm glad you all were here. I'm pretty sure I will do another broadcast on Wednesday, and at 3:00. If I don't, what I want to do is if I do make a video or have it set up, I'll have it queued up in the notifications so that you'll see it. In other words, like this one, I had it loaded up or I had it queued earlier in the day so everybody could know that it was coming. And that's what I'll do on Wednesday. I'm assuming I will do one. So anyway, other things that I need to do. There's a video coming out tomorrow on the Impala, so you can check that out. And that's going to be it. And it's nice to have Hot Booster show up today. And now he's teasing me by saying he's out smoking some ribs. Man, you guys got to quit doing this to me. Thank you, Randall. See you Roger, Hindsight. Good night, Tim, Darlene, Paul, Grease Rookie, Dave, Conville, and all those that have shown up. I appreciate it. If you would throw a thumbs up on there, anything to help the channel grow and become a bigger success would be helpful. So that's going to be it. And let me close with this.